On the bass, Bert Inglesman.
You grew up in Michigan, or you were born originally.
Yeah, 11 years.
Right. So you kind of had a bit of a, do you have a remembrance of it?
Yeah, I remember that. My family's originally from Cicero, Chicago, so I spent a lot of time in Chicago, and that was a big blues area.
Yes. Okay. And I remember you told me specifically about, like, because I asked you how you got into this specific genre of music, and you said something about you like some picking out music in school.
Oh, when I was a little kid in second grade, we used to have some old songbook, and in the very back, in Roman numerals, there were about 10 songs that were described Negro spirituals, and those would be the ones I would pick out when I got a turn. For some reason, I don't know why.
Do you remember any of the names of any of the songs?
I think the Old Folks at Home was one I can remember.
Old Folks at Home.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, they're not blues songs, obviously,
well, no,
but they were black.
Just to give you, like,
Yeah.
You kind of.
Yeah, and then when I started to play, which really wasn't until 71, I was definitely drawn to that kind of music right from the beginning. Blues and R&B, soul music. But Sarasota is a big music area. I mean, it's not as much anymore, but in the 60s, it definitely was.
Cool. So you always knew you were going to be a musician? Or you had other plans?
Somebody owed me money, and they were $13 short, and they gave me a bass guitar for the money.
And then you just started to...
I tried to pawn it a couple of times. I was 18, and you had to be 21 to pawn it because I had to make rent money. And then, I don't know if I should say this, but I got arrested, and part of my probation was I had to move back home with my parents. I had to sell my 1962 Corvair for $50 to pay my dad back for bailing me out. And he was a radio TV repairman, and he set up this he connected something to my stereo so I could play bass along with my records. And since I didn't have a car, I just sat there and played.
Oh, and you're bored.
Yeah. My mom played organ and piano. There was always a Hammond organ and a grand piano in the house. Since before I was born. So I was always around. The first bass was given to me for some money that was owed. The second bass I bought at a place called Lipham's Music up in excuse me, up in Gainesville, which was where the Allman Brothers got all their equipment. That got stolen out of the back of my car a year after I got it. So I got this on Valentine's Day of '74. And that's me when I was 20, when I first started playing it.
Okay. And what do you play now?
This is the only thing I've played since Valentine's Day of 1974. Ever.
Okay.
It's a pre-CBS 1965 Fender jazz bass. They're considered one of the best you can get for tone.
Okay. Cool.
Another thing, 50 years ago in '73, I met somebody who kind of became my best friend, Richie Kicklighter, and he was in the house band at the Palms. So a lot of the white kids from Siesta Key would go up there, and that was a serious Chitlin circuit place where everybody big played. James Brown, Marvin Gaye, B.B. King, the Supremes, they all played up there. So that was another kind of a introduction for white people to start becoming aware of issues that the black people have.
Yeah, because I heard it was kind of like a pit stop type situation.
Well, it was a Chitlin circuit. It was that, which is pretty much gone now. Now that music got more integrated and the black artists were able to play the bigger venues. But it was pretty cool. It was funky. I got to play the Chitlin circuit with this band, the Underground Railroad, backing up Percy Sledge and Clarence Carter and a few other people. Incidents touring with the Underground Railroad, which was mostly black, where we'd stop at a gas station somewhere, and I remember sometimes they wouldn't let the black guys use the restrooms. So we'd all pile back into the truck and go down the street, and find another gas station to hit, to make a pit stop. you did see it in Chicago also, man. There was a lot of stuff going on. Music did definitely, I think, help bring, especially the white kids, some awareness of the situation that black people had to deal with. And hopefully it keeps doing that. There's a lot of good things happening, I think, out of R&B music. I just wish the music scene down here was like it used to be. Robarts had big concerts practically every weekend. Same with the municipal auditorium and the little armory right next to Robarts. There was just so much more for the kids to go do, man. Now there's really not a lot that I'm aware of. I mean, I realize how lucky I was to have been in that era where that stuff was happening. The late 60s into 70, 71, 72, it was really like a huge peak of creative energy. There's a lot of great stuff still going on, but there was just something happening back in the late 60s, 70, 71, 72. You could just feel the electricity in the air, and it was reflected in the music and the cars. It was where the muscle car era kind of peaked, those cars are so popular now, and just art and anything creative seemed to have an extra electric charge back then. We didn't really realize it at the time. We knew we were having fun, but now that we can look back, you can see what an incredible time that was.